Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to HitScan. We're looking at some Overwatch 2 details from Gameinformer that came out not too long ago regarding future heroes for characters that have been sort of seen in a way, and also some things about the Overwatch 2's progression that many of you may have missed. Let's get started. First off, from BlizzCon we got to know that there were quite a few heroes coming here and there, not a lot of details, and that at least one more hero will be added to current Overwatch, hopefully more. A lot of people have Echo in their sights or another character, so of course people have been dying for more details, and just I think 4 days ago, Gameinformer's executive editor Andrew Reiner posted an article to Gameinformer where he talked about his experience about going to Blizzard, either before or after BlizzCon, to do some more coverage on Overwatch 2. First off, before we get into what he saw, Overwatch 2 is actually the cover story for Gameinformer in December. If you don't know what Gameinformer is, it's a giant, very well-known gaming magazine that provides stories on new upcoming games, recently released titles and interviews and such, and they have big cover stories where they go through a whole lot of things about games, where they usually have new exclusive information leading up to launches, or just about games that have just been sort of teased or revealed. The December issue of Gameinformer will be the Blizzard issue, which will cover all of the Blizzard IPs, at least the big ones that were talked about at BlizzCon, and Overwatch is in there with Tracer on the cover. I've not seen this art before, and I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more details we've not seen about Overwatch 2 that will be in there, so be excited for that in a few weeks. It was most likely leading up to this that Andrew Reiner was at Blizzard, and Jeff Kaplan actually showed him a PowerPoint with some interesting things in it. He didn't talk about everything in there because I imagine a lot of it is embargoed, but this type of speculation detail he felt like he was at least okay with sharing, I assume. There are 4 silhouettes of characters that he'd seen in a PowerPoint, and what he basically said was that it looked like 3 of them were actually female, but he only got a very quick look, so it was kind of hard to tell. What he did see during that was that the one male character that he seemed to see there appeared to be wielding a crooked staff of some sort or something along those lines, looking kind of like a wizard or warlock from the silhouette. Again, this could have just been some concept art or something that's not very accurate, but that was interesting, I thought. But the hero that stood out the most to him, that seemed to be, I guess, the most unique to Andrew, was a female character with short hair, with what seemed like a pet next to her with pointy ears and a pointy tail, kind of like a fennec fox, but with even longer ears and apparently a, quote, aggressive stance. So the heroes seem to be wielding a 4-sided weapon themselves of some sort, kind of like a giant shuriken, but even thicker. So it could have been a type of boomerang thing where they can throw that thing away, but they can also use it melee, who knows. It could have been just a very rough concept that will change massively over time. We don't really know, and maybe we never will, but either way, those are some hints for characters that may be in the works and that have kind of been hinted at here. So Andrew from Gameinformer was guessing that maybe the little pet will be part of the character's ultimate of some sort, kind of like Bob for Ashe, and the development team for Overwatch have previously mentioned how happy they are with how Bob worked out for Ashe, so this seems like a possibility for sure. Just hoping we find out more about these characters over time and that we get some cool teasers over the next few months. That's all that Andrew really wrote in terms of the details for the characters in there. He did also say whenever he asked about Echo, that Echo was described as a mysterious hero, or at least that the word mysterious was just used a lot to describe her. All this lines up pretty well with what we've heard from BlizzCon, actually, with what Jeff said there, talking about Overwatch 2. I asked him about the Overwatch 2 launch and how many heroes they would have, for example. One of the many questions that was answered in this big interview I was part of, where it was said that several new heroes would be added all at once with the Overwatch 2 launch, so PvP should be really interesting around that time. And when I was speaking to Jeff, Aaron, Arnold, and John from the Overwatch team at BlizzCon who were part of that interview panel, Jeff basically said that they weren't sure how many heroes they would add, but that it would be a significant amount. Not like 21 new heroes at launch, though, like altogether, like Overwatch 1, where it was just a whole roster of characters, but I got the feeling that I would guess maybe 4, 5, or 6, so this lines up pretty well with that.
If that helps. In terms of heroes, there are multiple. It's not going to be like original Overwatch where there will be 21. I think that's excessive, and I actually think that would be extremely disruptive to the game. But we want it to be big and impactful, so it's going to be multiple heroes.
Speaking of Overwatch 2 though and BlizzCon, in that same interview there was also a particular answer to a question that I wanted to highlight, as when I uploaded the full interview a few days ago, many people said that it was a bit of a hidden gem part of that talk. So that had not been reported on by many YouTubers or press, so I figured I'd put it in here as well. This is something that Aaron Keller said that I thought was pretty interesting regarding progression in Overwatch 2 and where they're at the moment versus where they want to be with it.
Players. What we've shown so far at BlizzCon, internally we're calling it the talent system, and it's just one small part of our progression system. If you saw any of the panel, we showed a bunch of the different talents and what they can do to actually affect a player's abilities. Internally, we have multiple other systems that contain elements that players are using to change gameplay on them too. We're just not ready to show those right now, but the talent system isn't the only part of progression. There are multiple other systems that we're playing with in order to deliver this really deep and meaningful experience.
So there's loads more systems coming basically, and the talent system is just one of them. That sounds really good, because honestly I like the talent system for PvE, but it is lacking if you want any sort of build depth there, and especially if we're talking long-term progression and endgame style grind. So definitely want to see more stuff there, and I'm happy that they're not calling it quits with what they've got currently and will just add that to every single character and call it a day. What do you think about all this? Who do you think is the next hero? Let us know in the comments below, just below that like button. Thank you very much for watching. We'll keep you updated on the latest Overwatch 2 stuff whenever there's new information, so subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.